1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in the Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. And then they go through this whole thing about, who's going to be what, where, and periodically the House of Representatives has to, there's a census. Actually, there's another part of the Constitution that says every 10 years there shall be a census taken. And part of the reason for this is to determine how many members of the House of Representatives each state will have. And then each state gets to decide how they determine how to split up the state for the purposes of representation. And this leads to some very interesting outcomes. We just had a census in 2010. And the state of Ohio is up to some really interesting stuff. See, here's the bottom line. It's not just Ohio. This is happening all over the country, in particular in Republican states. And so Ohio is a great case point example of what's going on. Same, John Kasich. I mean, he's pretty much been up to and done everything that the Koch brothers and ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, and which is funded by the Koch brothers, and all these other things that they want, is how they get away with changing congressional districts so that Republican safe seats are Republican safe seats forever, and Democratic safe seats become really dicey, or occasionally are safe seats forever, but in a largely Republican state are kind of dicey. Cliff Schecter is with us. He is the progressive PR strategist and syndicated columnist with Al Jazeera and others. LibertasLLC.com is his website. Cliff, welcome back to the program.
Thanks as always, Tom. How are you? I
am great, but I'll get better, and I hope the same is true of you. I should add that you also live in Ohio.
I do, yes.
Although you spend a lot of time in D.C. and other places in this country as a political consultant and observer, strategist. What the hell's going on in your state?
That's just a perfect way of putting it. Well, you have a great intro there, Tom. I think you covered it. John Kasich won, and during the election made it sound like everything would be bipartisan and wanted the state to move forward together. I mean, we've heard this song and dance before. I think I seem to remember George W. Bush saying something about being a unifier. This is what these guys say when they want to get elected.
Right.
But obviously, he's run things here. I mean, with our recent referendum to overthrow their union attack on public sector unions, where he was defeated in a huge way.
Yep.
I mean, people here, they're not going for what he's doing. He's approval ratings in the 30s. But I mean, this is even broader than that, I would think. I mean, we all remember, of course, what Tom DeLay did. Back in the mid-2000s, and I remember it was about 2003 or 2004 with the mid-decade redistricting, where he just grabbed a number of seats for Republicans and got himself into some trouble with some corporate money laundering doing it. But in the end, the results were the Republicans gained a number of seats. I mean, it's the same thing. It's a Republican Party that doesn't respect our democratic traditions in the slightest, and they will do anything to gain extra seats. So here in Ohio, it's the same thing.
Right. So what are they doing? What are they doing?
Well, you got the Speaker of the House, and I mean this nationally, John Boehner, and his staff have been coordinating with the folks here drawing the seats.
Right. Tom DeLay used to do this nationally when he was the Speaker of the House. I remember that very well.
That's exactly right. I mean, this is how he eventually one of the ways he eventually got into trouble with the law. Right. John Boehner is doing this in the same way, trying to solidify his holds on the speakership in the House. Ohio, as you know, is a 50-50 state, regardless of what happened in 2010, where the Republicans won big. The Democrats had the same kind of year in 2006 here. I mean, this is the way this state goes, and yet they've drawn these seats, so 12 of 16, three-quarters of them are heavy Republican leans. I mean, some of these districts throw people that were, until recently, 110 miles apart into districts, so they have to go up against each other. And my personal favorite is we've got this company here, the Timken Corporation, that's a huge donor to the Republican Party. There's an email trail showing that literally Boehner's staff requested that they redraw this district for Representative Renacci, who's one of these Tea Party types, at the last minute to do an extra carve-out, as you call it, just to stick this one company in his district because they're so pro-Republican in terms of their giving. That would help him maintain.
So that corporation would be inclined to give their political donations to that particular Tea Party Republican as opposed to some other candidate.
Right, because Bernacchi's a first-termer who is a Tea Party. He knocked off Representative Boccieri, a Democrat who used to represent that district, and they want to solidify, the crazy group of teabag freshmen that came in last time. I mean, this guy's one of them. That's one of the ways they do it. Another one, albeit a more moderate Republican, is, obviously that's these days what that means. Who knows? It just means he's not completely crazy, which is Representative Steve Stivers here in the Columbus area. They're redistricting. They made sure to throw a bunch of banks into his district because he's a former bank lobbyist.
Right.
So I mean, they've done things that really even go beyond what you want. I'm certainly beyond what was once considered normal. But I mean, along the lines of what Tom DeLay did. I mean, they're basically trying to take at least Texas is a very Republican state, and it still was a power grab.
Right.
This is a very purple state, and they're trying to set it up so that for the next 10 years they'll be guaranteed 3/4 of the seats here, and Boehner's been behind the whole thing. And
do these emails reveal anything that is illegal, or do they just open the door to the sausage factory so you can see how the sausage is being made?
They definitely open the door to the sausage factory and show how undemocratic this process is. I'm not sure if there's anything illegal yet, but there are a number of fair, good government groups that are looking into this to find out if there have been illegalities. I don't think people at first knew what to say about what DeLay did. They just knew it was wrong, and then of course they found he was using the RNC to launder money into Texas, use corporate money. Of course, now everybody uses corporate money, so I'm not sure.
Right, but Tom DeLay is still looking at prison time for it because it's still illegal in Texas. Although I don't think it's illegal in Ohio. But Texas still had that law that was a state version of the Tillman Act passed in 1907.
That's exactly right, from the last real progressive era. My guess is
when the Republicans were the majority progressives. Oddly enough.
when Teddy Roosevelt. Well, obviously we were a very different country when you're Teddy Roosevelt's were your progressives. It's strange.
Teddy Roosevelt, and even Taft to some extent. I mean, of all things. We're talking with Cliff Schecter, National Progressive PR Strategist, nationally syndicated columnist, LibertasLLC.com. Cliff, I'm curious. You said the state is a very purple state. Dennis Kucinich represents that state. Did Ohio lose one congressional district? Is that why he is suddenly in a primary against another sitting Democrat?
Well, we in the end lost 2 seats, but that's
you lost
not
2. Because you lost population.
That's exactly right. We lost population, and just as you were mentioning when it began, that you have the census every 10 years. They have to reallocate seats in the House based upon that. We lost 2, and that's fine. But that's not the reason. Of course, they set Dennis Kucinich up to be in a primary because that's what they want. They set again some of these Democratic districts that weren't anywhere near each other. They've set them up so Democrats will have to take each other on, or they've created districts that really, maybe what's illegal is they've created some districts that completely disenfranchise large groups of people who, there's certain districts that a number of African Americans are thrown into that are going to have no voice. There's other districts where they've just created literally 85-90% Democratic districts so they can carve out the others.
Yeah, and aren't there laws? Hasn't Congress passed laws, or hasn't the Supreme Court interpreted the Constitution to say that districts actually have to be representative, or can they just do anything they want?
They have. As we know, anything can be twisted around in the era of Citizens United and the rest with the Scalia gang. But I would think that yes, they have interpreted it that way. You're supposed to somehow represent districts that have common interests, and there's just no common interest in any of these districts here. There are just a bunch of fake lines on land drawn to throw people together so Republicans can win the most seats. So I still think there's a shot, and we can always get this on a referendum here in 2012 and overturn it, and of course then Kasich may really get what he deserves.
That would be very interesting. Okay, Cliff Schecter, LibertasLLC.com. Thanks, Cliff, for the news from Ohio.
All right. Thanks so much, Tom.